Mauro Giuliani's 120 studies for right hand development are considered by many to be essential practice for the student of the classical guitar. They can be found in Scott Tennant's Pumping Nylon book, where he has taken them out of sequence and grouped them by related arpeggio style. This is a good way to practice them, but if you don't have Pumping Nylon, you can always play them from another publication in numerical order. There's nothing wrong with that. For purposes of this presentation, I'm going to play them in the Pumping Nylon groupings. However, I will be playing them out of the Alfred publication for two reasons. The print is much larger, and there are a few errors in my edition of Pumping Nylon. I'll point those out as we go through them. I will play through each study just once for illustrative purposes. If you're practicing these seriously, you'll want to play them repeatedly at various tempo settings and take your time to be very careful and deliberate with your finger motions. So here is the first group. In the Alfred publication, it's simply numbers 1 through 12. In Pumping Nylon, he has them numbered 1 through 10 and 16 and 17. So it's important to note that in different publications, numbers 11 and 12 and 16 and 17 have been interchanged. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. One thing we can learn right away from studies 2 and 3 is that when we're changing from the C chord in the first measure to the G7 chord in the second measure, you will want to place your fingers in the order that they're required. So in study 2, the last beat of measure 1 on the C chord, going to the G7 chord, we're going to want to put down the 2 finger on the 5th string, the 4th finger on the 2nd string, and the 1st finger on the 1st string. So the chord change is like this: 2, 4, 1, and that's a smooth way to transition between the chords. You may want to practice the last beat of measure 1 and the first beat of measure 2 and repeat that over and over. It would sound like this for study 2. It's a good way to practice that chord change. Now in study 3, the fingers will go down in a different order. Because the arpeggio is this, when we go to the G7 chord, the 2 finger goes down again, then the 1 finger, and lastly the pinky. So if you practice that change repeatedly, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4. It's a good way to practice the chord changes, as you will encounter that in every exercise in this series. Moving on to number 4. Number 5. This is the first time we encounter the M finger leading each beat instead of the thumb. Number 6. In the second measure of number 7 over the G7 chord, on the 3rd beat is the first time we will encounter the low G note on the 6th string, which uses the 3rd finger. It only happens once in this exercise, so watch out for that. In number 8, we also play the low G on the 3rd beat of the second measure. 11 in the Alfred publication, which is number 16 in Pumping Nylon and some other publications. And last for group 1 is number 12 in the Alfred publication, referred to as number 17 in Pumping Nylon and other publications. One thing to note about this exercise is that the very last note in the second measure is the open B string. It's the first time we've encountered that. So we begin measure 2 with the G7 chord with our fourth finger down on the second string D note. But we lift it for the very last note to get the open B. And that's it for group 1 of the Giuliani 120 right-hand studies. Be sure and stay tuned for the rest of them and other essential studies in classical guitar. Thanks for watching.